to Underwater Astrology, presenting you guys the lovely new moon, July 17th, 2023. This is for specific Pacific time, 12 p.m. We have the sun in Cancer, 24 degrees, the new moon in Cancer, the Mercury in Leo, 12 degrees, Venus in Leo, 28 degrees, Mars in Virgo, 4 degrees, Jupiter in Taurus, 11 degrees, Saturn in Pisces, 6 degrees, Uranus in Taurus, 22 degrees, Neptune in Pisces, 27 degrees, Pluto in Capricorn still at 29 degrees, True Node just coming into a close, almost a close at 0 degrees Taurus, almost the most defined degree, and then Chiron at 19 degrees Aries. We will go through the important symbols, the important signs, and we will go through the Sabian symbols of the sun in Cancer and the moon in Cancer just in a moment. We will now do the Sabian symbol of the sun in Cancer in 24 degrees. A woman and two men, or a man and two women, cast away on a small island. The symbol shows people seem locked into some situation, environment, or relationship that pushes the boundaries of relationships. There could be too many people, as in relationship triangles, or there could just be too many people to take into consideration, as sometimes happens, i.e. when a child intrudes too much into a relationship between adults. You may find that it is difficult to choose what you want, as others may have something different to say. Your wants seem to vacillate from one extreme to the other. Perhaps there is a need to get away from those trying to confuse you with conflicting views, although this may sometimes be impossible. Feelings of being fenced in, little room to move, lack of privacy, questions of fidelity, isolation, rivalry, polygamy, claustrophobia, the struggle to be noticed, love affairs. Not seeing the whole picture, fighting over territory, having too many people to consider, the specter of someone else, jealousy, unacceptable relationships. Wow. And that's where the sun is on the new moon. And we will do where the new moon is, the Sabian symbol for the new moon. But what I have to say is that is coming from the full moon in Capricorn. I feel that coming into this new moon, there's a lot of hope. I think it is beautiful to see. The first thing I see from the Sabian symbol is abundance and manifestation through the energy of waves of energy, working through the shadow work of the waves of Saturn having gone in retrograde June 30th, Neptune having gone in retrograde June 30th, Saturn having gone in retrograde June 17th, and then Pluto having gone in retrograde May 17th. I think a lot of what I see is there just being this energy of those three retrogrades kind of purging these energies and coming back to the truth of an abundance of something, especially with being in Cancer season and being like, I feel Cancer is about the family and about like how your Cancer is the colloquial I see in traditional astrology, because Aries rules the first house, Cancer rules the fourth house, the I see, which means that was how you were raised. So I feel here people are just coming down to the truth of what it means to be family in this new planet and where the planet needs to go with all these new Pluto generations feeding the earth. And what do we have? What resources do we have that our parents didn't have? What can we take advantage of? What is good and what is bad? Because some of these resources, if you don't have control over them, they're a bit toxic. And as you know, there are more and more indigo children being born. And the thing with indigo children is that they actually need earth and astrology and metaphysics and, you know, more education on gender studies and racism and all these things to be integrated in society, but also lead society to a better place. Because if we keep relying on the same stereotypes with these new crystal children, it will be very hard to integrate them in the new world. Like the world is changing, right? It's shifting, but we need to integrate the newer children with less of friction, right? So that they feel safe in what they know, because these children coming in, since pretty much, I think all children are old souls, but like really this generation, Pluto and Capricorn, they're really a lot older. I think kindness goes a long way for all people. So then the moon in Cancer falls in 23 degrees, and the Sabian symbol for that is, this symbol shows the necessity. So the title is The Meeting of a Study Group or Literary Society. The symbol shows the necessity of gathering together with those of like mind in order to exchange or share ideas and information. In society, the search for meaning should always be made in order to enrich not only yourself but those around you. Finding the best way to describe something creates the opportunity for greater access by the collective. This can show websites, magazines, newspapers, books, any place that people gather together in order to give an objective view of what's happening in the culture in order to gain a better understanding of what makes society tick. Shared knowledge, print media, newspaper, libraries, written word, critics' diaries, records and minutes of meetings, talk back radio, discussions, letters to the editor, falsifying of ideas, propaganda spread by media, intellectual smudgeness, which excludes non-establishment thought, chatting instead of doing, being critical. So I see here with this degree and with where this degree with the new moon shows me that with Mercury being in Leo in 12 degrees and Venus being in the 20th degree of Leo, it shows me that this is the time when relationships are going to change. I think after this new moon, we're going to see some serious relationship shifts because people are going to start getting more serious. So the new moon is in, obviously, Sirius is in the constellation of Cancer, but it's also interesting that Mercury is here. Mercury here is here coupled up with Venus. So we're thinking about love, and then the new moon is serious about it, and it's with Regulus, the Mercury and Venus. And then there's Mars in Virgo, who wants to be super practical. And then also at the same time, we have Pluto in Capricorn, who's just like, I know what's going to work and I know what's not going to work. I know parts of influences from older establishments that just cannot be incorporated in my new lifestyle. But also this whole trajectory of us going into North Node Aries, South Node Libra, which means that this is a time when, this is a time when our soul will be, as a collective, we will all be moving towards the beauty of making it about yourself and relationships, so much so that the other person can see you entirely, which does mean being serious about getting to the heart of the matter. And I do think there will be support, and I do think people will come in. And this is just a few days before North Node Aries. Mind that, South Node Libra. This is, the shift is the next day. But we are in the last degree of Taurus here, so I think I'll read the Sabian symbol of that. But I do think that here I do see that it will just be about quieting the mind and listening into the stillness, because there's going to be so much fog with, at times, with that Pluto in 29th degree with Capricorn, and what that means for not necessarily your life, but for the government and these establishments, these hierarchies, these patriarchies that we have to be mindful of, and their influence into our IC, into our home life, because that is where we are going to tap into our soul more. So I actually realized that I had to dig deeper for the Sabian symbol, or the meeting, yes, of Taurus in 0 degrees, and I realized that The 0 degree in astrology means that a planet or a house cusp is at 0 degrees of a sign. It is considered a critical degree. Okay, so I want everyone to be mindful of that. With the critical degree, planets at the 0 degree of a sign indicate that you are starting a new beginning with the energy and earthly life manifestations of this planet. You have completed a cycle of reincarnations and experiences with it. And now you are given a new impetus, a new lifeline in this direction, a clean slate, so to speak, to explore other totally new and fascinating aspects of this planet. So I feel that this is really important to say that this critical degree is coming in at Taurus, guys, on the new moon, July 17th. So, and Uranus is also in Taurus. So for Uranus, the Uranian energy, I think it's quieting the mind and listening to those guides. But I also feel as though it's understanding the fall of what has happened and letting it fall with Pluto and Capricorn in the 29th degree. With the 0 degrees, Taurus. Degrees Taurus, yes, it means that I feel like it's about taking a standstill. It's like, what have you completed so far as we go into 29 degrees Libra and we go into 29 degrees North Node Aries? What have you kind of manifested, right? What have you learned about yourself? I think it will be a great place to slow down. I think the new moon will be a great time to slow down from the things that you feel trigger you, for a moment of air, for a moment of that entering into that South Node Libra and the intention you want to have on your relationships. This can be bringing more positive energy or bringing more maturity as we're all getting older. Nobody's getting younger. I mean, spiritually we're getting younger, sure, but everybody's aging right now. Nobody's going backwards. That does say something about having intention in this life, and I do think everybody's getting older. Nobody's turning into a 2-year-old. You might have trauma come up, you might have pain come up, but you're not a 2-year-old. It's the influence you're letting come into your IC, and I do think it's a time for quieting your mind. Okay, that is it for the new moon. Please make thoughtful intentions for the full moon in Aquarius. Full moon in Aquarius that will happen August 1st, which will be just amazing to have that kind of bring in new renovations to our aspects of our life that we needed. Okay. Looking forward to seeing you on the full moon for the new moon and full moon talks. Please keep tuned into Underwater Astrology. The views help. And wishing you guys a happy new moon.